Hi, this is Coach Robb. In this video, I want to show you what we call the bottom bracket of a bicycle. This is what your crank arms are attached to, and this is what allows your bicycle to pedal forward as you press down on the pedals, and it distributes through the crank arm. As the chainring pedals forward, obviously it moves you in a forward direction. What I want you to understand is this is what we call top dead center. This is what we call 3 o'clock. This is what we call 6 o'clock. And this is what we call 9 o'clock, just as if you're looking at a clock on the wall. Now what I want you to recognize is that the pedal platforms need to be level, and what you have to envision is that your foot is clipped into the pedal. Okay? As you start to pedal around in a full circle, what you have to recognize is that the pedal pressure and the amount of power that's put to the rear wheel is all dictated by how you put pressure on the pedal spindle, which is the part that attaches the pedal to the crank arm. When you're at the top of the pedal stroke, you want to be pushing your toes towards your front wheel. When you get to 3 o'clock, you want to actually act like you're sinking your heels into a bucket of mud. What that's doing is that's indicating where the pressure is being applied to your shoe, your pedal spindle, into the crank arm, and ultimately the chain. At this point, you're at what we call bottom dead center, or 6 o'clock. This is where you want to act like you're scraping mud off the bottom of your shoe and pulling it towards the back of the bicycle. As you come up towards 9 o'clock, this is one of the parts of the pedal stroke that's overlooked the most. And this is where you want to be pulling straight up towards the sky. Remember, you've got a flat foot on the pedal platform that's going to be lifting straight to the sky. This part of the pedal stroke is overrun by momentum with the other leg, believe it or not. So now what you want to envision is you're actually going to be cycling in quadrants. We call it 12 to 3, 3 to 6, 6 to 9. Now when you're riding on your bicycle, what you can do is look between your right leg and your top tube, and you'll see if the chain is going up and down or if it's moving back and forth, i.e. frontwards and backwards. You'll actually see the visual deviation in the chain, which shows you have some dead spots in your pedal stroke, and that's what we want to eliminate in today's video. On a board, I want you to see that the arrows indicate the pressure on the pedal that we just looked at. There's your top dead center at 12, bottom dead center at 6, and what you want to be looking at is that your pedal stroke is going to be broken down into 4 quadrants. Obviously 12 to 3, 3 to 6, 6 to 9, 9 to 12. And the arrows indicate how and where you need to be putting the pressure by quadrant for a total of 360 degrees. Straight forward, sinking your heels, scraping mud off the back, and lifting your flat foot towards the sky. You put all that together, what you're able to do is you're able to eliminate some of your dead spots in your pedal stroke, and what this is going to do is improve your efficiency, your power output, and your endurance, because really what you're doing is you're getting out of your own way. Believe it or not, the left leg gets in the way of the right leg. Now what we're looking at is how both legs look when they're in unison. Notice how it's easy to override that 6 to 12 part of the pedal stroke, because as one leg comes over top dead center and bottoms out, the next leg comes over the top, pushes straight to the bottom again. This is why we want to focus on the back half of your pedal stroke. To get started, I want you to stop pedaling, and I want you to twist your ankle out so you don't tweak a knee, and put the foot directly behind you. Now notice that I put my foot behind as close to the frame as possible to square my hips up. Now what we're looking at here is the 12 to 3. Notice that I stop and I push towards my front wheel. Every time you push towards your front wheel, you're going to hear that chain clank. That's when you know you're doing it correctly. And we stop completely to remove momentum. Now here we're going to start at 3 o'clock and go to 6. Now this feels very awkward because it's not a normal part of your pedal stroke when you think about it, because usually this is where momentum takes off. If you're putting pressure on that pedal stroke, you're going to be feeling like you're sinking your heel. Now when we start at bottom dead center, this is where you want to be feeling as if you're raking, scraping mud off the bottom of your shoe. You're pulling back towards your rear wheel by sliding backwards. This next one is what we call 9 to 12. You're going to stop and you're going to be pulling straight towards the sky. You're going to feel your stomach muscles tweak a little bit. And you should actually feel your feet lose contact with the bottom of your shoe, inside your shoe. Okay? This is the part of the pedal stroke that we tend to override with momentum, as we were saying earlier, the 9 to 12. What it should look like when you put it all together, Notice I'm still using only one leg. You'll notice my other leg is still close to the frame and back. My hips are squared off. And what I'm doing is I'm looking down between my right leg and my top tube, and I'm looking at my chain, trying to identify any dead strokes, any dead parts of my pedal stroke, where I'll notice the chain starts to clank. Now right there what I did was I was letting momentum get a hold of me, so I stopped the bike completely and I resumed, trying to keep as much pressure on the pedal as I can for 360 degrees. Now in between doing the isolated leg drill on my right and my left leg, I just spin easy for a couple minutes. And what I'm just trying to do is get my hips square back up. Now what I want you to recognize right here is I've slowed everything down. If you watch my pedal platform, my feet, our goal is to keep them as flat as possible through 360 degrees. As I come over the top of the pedal stroke, I'm pushing forward, I'm sinking my heels, I'm pulling backwards, I'm lifting up. Now, the reason why I slowed it down is so that you can see the foot itself. When you slow everything down, you start to recognize that momentum can be your best friend or your worst enemy, and when it comes to efficiency on the bicycle, you want to really be thinking about your pedal stroke in 4 quadrants, as we've discussed in this video today. Go back to normal pedal stroke. This is about an 80 cadence. Notice that the chain is staying nice and tight. And again, this is a mental conscious choice and an effort. So I hope you found this advantageous. Please visit us at coachrobb.com.